Welcome to the 30-day noob improvement journey. It's day 7, early game. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you 10 key tips that have helped me become a lot better at early game in Fortnite. So hang around till the end because tip number 10 is by far the best to get more wins. So as part of the noob journey, I've been trying to experiment with different early game tactics, and I've come up with 10 key points which I think I have found to be the most relevant points to getting a better early game, which then leads to obviously a better mid to late game as well. So the 10 points I will make in a moment, but to start with I just wanted to clarify that I consider that early game is to start from the lobby and ends in the first circle closing in. So that's what I consider to be the early game. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So although there are many options on how to play the early game, I think a lot depends on what type of player you are and if you are going for more kills or more wins. Now personally I'm not good enough to go for both, and so I know that initially I was trying to go for more kills to get better at the game, but I decided to try for wins as well, and it's completely different play styles for early game. So tip number 1 of what I found most useful for early game is knowing what type of game you're going to play. Are you playing for kills or are you playing for the win? So if you're trying to get more kills, then you want to jump off as soon as you can from the bus and land at a named place, because most people jump off at the beginning of the bus journey and will aim for the nearest named places. If you are looking for more wins, then you will possibly land where there's less people going, which is normally at the end of the journey of the bus route and also at non-named places. So that's the key for tip 1, is knowing what type of game you are playing. Tip number 2 is to jump off the bus at the correct time to ensure you are landing at your chosen location before anyone else, because this will give an advantage straight away to you. Should anyone be landing with you, you can hopefully prioritize a weapon, which leads us on to tip number 3, which is do try to land straight onto a weapon like we do here, because should somebody land with you straight away, you've got a weapon in your hand. To start with, I used to land quite often on things like bullets, so like over here I'd land on those, and no point in having bullets if you haven't got a weapon in your hand. So that is something to prioritize when you're diving down. Look on the floor to see what weapons are around and then try to get to one before your enemies do. Tip number 4 is to watch the other players landing when you're gliding into your location, and try to still go where you want to, but keep an eye on them at the same time, like we are here. I'm trying to watch where they're going, but also look for a weapon, and noticing that they were landing somewhere right in the middle of nowhere, clearly a bot, but they were landing with no weapons, so I could quite easily just take my time and shoot them down. So that's a case of looking for the players and watching where they land, and it also helps if they are landing in a location where they can get a gun. You've got an idea of where they are straight away and can either go towards them or disengage and prioritize getting materials and other things. So really top tip there also. Tip number 5 is to prioritize materials and shields after you've got a weapon. So when you've got a weapon, start moving through the house or the building that you're in and look for chests, etc. But while you're going through each room, hit the furniture, get materials, because the more materials you can have from early game, the better your chances are mid game and end game, because you're not going to be looking for resources because you've already got plenty from early game, and hopefully you get a few more kills and pick up even more resources from there. Tip number 6 is to keep an eye out for when the first circle appears, because as soon as you know that that's appeared, you can have a little check and have a look to see what your route towards the safe circle is going to be. And in this example, the circle is certainly going to be quieter along the south side, so maybe have a look at the circle in the game that you're in and see whether, if you want a quieter route, you might see that you might go along the coast or along the quieter edge of the circle, but if you're looking for more kills, then you're going to be looking at going at the part of the circle that's closer to the middle of the map, because clearly people will be rotating in from the middle or the other part of the map towards the circle, so you're going to get more people rotating in, therefore more kills, but again it depends on what sort of style you're looking for, whether you're going for more kills or more wins, and just make sure you keep an eye out on the circle and checking it so that you can plan your route before you actually need to take that route out towards the safe circle. Tip number 7 is not to get drawn into pickaxe battles when you first land on the roof of a house. For example, when somebody else is landing there with you, it rarely ends well. So I think if you see that somebody else is landing on the same space as you, then consider diverting off somewhere else and trying to get a weapon before anyone else, because frankly pickaxe battles at the beginning have never ended well for me, so not worth the risk to my mind. Tip number 8 is to know when to engage with enemies at early game. So I took on this player here because I believe they didn't have any guns in their hands when they ran up the stairs. Unfortunately they picked up one in the bedroom there, but certainly knowing when to take on a player is good to consider, because if you don't have any mats and you don't have much in the way of weapons and not much shield, then the odds aren't in your favour for winning the engagement, unless you know what the other player has. So choose when to engage and when to disengage. Tip number 9 is, if you don't have any materials in early game, which often you don't, then it's just looking at using the right hand peek like we did there, and using surrounding vehicles and furniture and that to shield yourself from oncoming fire if need be. Last but not least, tip number 10 is to know a location inside out. There's a lot of benefit that I found in knowing a location. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I absolutely love Slurpy Swamp, mainly because there are plenty of chests and plenty of chances to get shield. You have lots of you've got the river to get shield, and lots of barrels with shield, and mushrooms and all sorts. So I know Slurpy Swamp really well, and I go there a lot to in early game, because I know that I can leave with plenty of shield and plenty of loot, and there's plenty of trees, etc. as well. So early game is a really good start there, and I know the different rooms. So if you can know whether it's Slurpy Swamp or somewhere else, if you can know it inside out, know where all the rooms are, where all the chests are, where all the loots are, where the best places are to get materials, and know the corners and the awkward angles, then you're going to give yourself the best chance in early game. So that is probably my best tip, and the thing that has led to most of my wins that I've had so far is mainly because I've landed at Slurpy Swamp and really cracked on with getting a really good start to the game, and mainly because I've also had lots of materials. When it's come to end game, I've not been worried about burning materials. I could just build and build and build and defend and get into higher positions and not worry about it at all. So top tip from my mind is to find a location you want to land at, that you like landing at, and go there regularly so that you know it inside out. So I hope this has helped you. These are the tips that I found most useful in getting more wins. Like I say before in other videos, certainly not a pro player, still learning the game, still consider myself a noob, but learning along this journey. And we'll see at day 7. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, please do check them out. We've got videos on snipers and shotgun usage and various other things, so do have a look at those. There's also a video on how to or showing you how I got around the Fortnite island using a speedboat without dying to the storm. And if you fancy a bit of a challenge, I do recommend that. It's great fun, and certainly as a challenge it took quite a few chances to get it, but do give it a go. And if you do find any of this video of use, please do let me know, and please do subscribe and follow the channel. I am trying to grow the channel, and any help you can give by supporting me as a subscriber, I would really appreciate it. So thanks very much, and see you in the next video.